Hello, everyone. We start a little bit before time because I have seen that Yogesh is already here. But a short introduction so that we can use the maximum of the half an hour because Yogesh Pai is actually Mexico. And so he has exactly half an hour, maximum 45 minutes if they ask questions. And then he's going to read the Murli. And to give you the context, we have seen there's some from Iceland, Italy, Switzerland. We are trying here. We have a mini retreat in Switzerland, and we are experimenting with a hybrid retreat. That means some participate in other places online, some are here in Zurich. And so we are trying out how this works and technically whether we are fit to do that. So that is the background. Yeah. So, okay, we will have a class with Yogesh, about half an hour. And then there would be time for two, maybe three questions, anyone here or even online. And then we let him fly off for the Murli in Mexico. Yogesh, are you here? Hello.
Buenos dias, everyone.
Buenos dias. So thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I told you it's a very small group, and yet you said yes. And even though it's for you not the most convenient time, so thank you so much for that. We're really very appreciative, and a few asked for the recording already now. So Yogesh, we have this very interesting title on how to stay safe in the coming times. And today, this morning, we had a class, also a European morning class with Shashi Ben from London. And she said that they asked Jendi Ben, who came just back from India, how much time we have. And she said, very, very little time. So we want to stay safe and have a good time in the remaining time. And so we are really looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, Shanti. Thank you, Matthias. Yes, this topic, of course, has come up a few times over the last few years and even last few decades. And I was thinking that, in a way, in terms of intense and testing times, it started even at the very beginning of the Yagya. And the partition of India and Pakistan was taking place. And there was a lot of violence and killing going on. And Baba had told the children at that time that if you remember Shiv Baba, then you will remain safe. But if you come into the corporeal consciousness and you think you are of this land, or if you think you are a woman, etc., because most were sisters, then that vibration will attract also the wrong energies from others. And over the years, of course, there have continued to be tests, sometimes in some intense form, sometimes less intense. And we also have to keep ourselves safe at this time now, and not only looking at the end times. And so, what does this tell us about maintaining our safety? So, one thing I'd like to start with is by saying that Baba has asked us often, are you yogis or do you have a yogi life? And when we live in a state of yoga, then it's a very special and powerful consciousness to be in. Essentially speaking, there are two main things I think that keep us safe and protected. One is this, which I'm mentioning, to stay in the soul conscious stage and to stay in Baba's remembrance so that we feel and experience Baba's canopy of protection over us. And the second thing is the protection that comes through having performed good deeds, being protected by our own elevated karma. And let's start with the first one. I remember some years ago, there was a big earthquake in Istanbul. And around the same time, there was also a big earthquake in Bhuj, in Gujarat, in India. And then Bab Dada had come just some time afterwards and commented on these kinds of situations. And he said that people in the world, they wonder at these times, should I be indoors? Should I be outdoors? Should I be underneath the frame of the door? Where to go for safety? And Baba had said that for you children, the main safety is to remain yog yukt. That is, keep your intellect connected to Baba. And then he used this phrase that if you do that, your feet will move towards safety. And it was a stunning sentence to hear. Your feet will move towards safety, that whether you should stay where you are or whether you should move. And when I heard that, it just confirmed for me once again that the greatest resource we have as Brahmins in our lives is our personal connection with Bap Dada. Not just for safety, but for anything in our lives. You find you can't do something, you need help for something, you think you're inexperienced or incompetent in something. But as long as the line is clear with Baba, then Baba can touch me and Baba can inspire me and emerge from within me whatever talents or abilities may be latent inside. So this is the main thing that we have to look after in our yogi life, is the line of my intellect, keeping it clear with Baba. And once Baba has used this other phrase, which often comes up, that if you make your intellect plain, then I will give you the plan. It's another wonderful secret to know that whenever we have any questions about anything in our lives, then it's important to place that in front of Baba. And of course, a way to do that is just be in meditation, be in Baba's room. Whatever thoughts or feelings are in the mind and in the heart, just speaking them out to Bab Dada. And then letting go. Keep the intellect plain. And if you keep it plain and uncomplicated, means do not overthink it, then Baba will give the plan and you receive a touching as to what you need to do in any situation. So our external preparations are one thing, and for that, yes, we need to take care and pay attention. We need to listen to what advice the local authorities or governments are giving. So that's one thing, external preparedness. But more so is our internal preparedness and keeping ourselves available to receive Baba's touchings. I remember a couple of experiences and observations with two particular dadis. And one was with Dadi Janki. And I remember one year I was with her in Beirut, in Lebanon, and we were having a retreat up in the hills in a hotel. So, of course, we'd arrived a day earlier before all the guests came. And the sister who was there was pointing out to Dadi what was happening and had happened in that city. So she was saying, down there last week, Dadi, there was a bomb went off, and over there was a shooting last week. So like this, she was pointing out where these acts were being carried out. And then Dadi said something which surprised me. And she said, wherever I go, Ashanti is not allowed to be there. She did like this. And Ashanti, as you may understand, means peacelessness. Wherever I go, peacelessness is not to be there. And I was thinking, wow, what gives her the right to say this? How can she say this? And as I thought about it further, it just dawned on me that she has so deeply accepted, absorbed, and been convinced that she is a child of the ocean of peace. So deep inside her, she's really accepted it. And therefore, wherever she goes, peace has to be there. Peace is more powerful than peacelessness. So for the duration that she is there, and those who are with her would feel that sense of protection and peace and security. And then I asked myself, well, have I accepted what Baba is saying about me? Have I really accepted it deep down to that level that I'm firmly convinced? Do I really accept I am a child of God? Do I really accept I am a child of the Almighty Authority? Or is it just at the surface of my intellect and I just think about it from time to time? Or have I really absorbed it into myself? Do I really live as a child of God? And can I absorb all the titles Papa gives me? Can I absorb them at the deepest level of my consciousness? And I think that's what gives us the power to maintain a sense of security, safety, protection within ourselves. And then those who are around us would also feel that sense of protection and safety. Second scene with another Dadi, and this was with the Dadi Chandramani. And some of you may know she was taking care of the state of Punjab in Bharat. And at some point there was a kind of, let's say, an insurgency, an attempt to break away from Bharat and create Khalistan, a separate state within India. So there was quite some terrorism going on there in the 80s, 90s. And Baba had called Dadi Chandramani as the lioness of Punjab because of her fearlessness. She passed away in the early 2000s. And I remember once she came to the town of Ilford in the east of London, where I used to live back in the late 80s. And there was a public program in a library. And then after her talk, there was time for questions from the audience. And one person put his hand up and asked her, you speak about peace and you speak about all these nice things, but what would you do if somebody attacked you with a knife in the street? What would you do? Would you be peaceful? So this kind of challenging, combative question. And I remember Dadi needed to ask the translator to translate the question 2 or 3 times because she just didn't understand it. It just didn't make sense to her because she spent her whole life living as a Shiv Shakti, as a child of God. It just wasn't in her computer that somebody would try to attack her with a knife. And I thought that, she's been living in this orb her whole life as being a child of God, a Shiv Shakti, deity soul. Her consciousness has been filled with these divine thoughts that this kind of other thought never had space to enter. And again, it was just a reminder for me that the power of your consciousness is your ultimate protection. And it's up to me to keep the power of my consciousness alive, to keep it active, to keep it moving. Just one more incident coming to mind, or one more saying. In fact, I heard this in a class from Suryabai. So I wasn't there, but he was saying apparently back in the early 70s, so maybe 72 or 74, 75 or something, Bapdada had come once in the meditation hall in Pandav Bhavan, and the hall wasn't even completely built. The walls were there, but the roof wasn't built yet. It was like still a tin roof, not properly made yet. And whilst Bapdada was speaking the Murli, it started raining and the wind was howling, and the roof was kind of clattering, going up and down because of the wind. And some of the rainwater, a little bit, was coming into different parts of the hall. And so apparently Bapdada said something like, if you are in the awareness of being a master almighty authority, then even if floodwaters are coming towards you, they will stop a few meters in front of you. And I thought, wow, is that real? It sounds like a movie. Sounds like a superpower. But apparently Bapdada was saying that this consciousness, I am a child of the Almighty Authority, I am a Master Almighty Authority, is such a powerful consciousness that even the 5 elements bow and respect that awareness, if I'm really fully absorbed in that awareness. So this shows us that what we are receiving from Baba is extremely powerful information, very powerful thoughts, which purify and elevate the quality of our awareness. And the most potent thing in life is the power of our awareness or our consciousness. Once Baba had said that if you keep yourself in a state of spiritual intoxication, then no person, no animal, and none of the 5 elements can attack you. Keep yourself in a state of spiritual intoxication. Why? Because that energy is very high quality spiritual energy. And it creates like an orb of protection around you. And so that means it's our responsibility to maintain that state of spiritual intoxication. Baba has provided us with all the tools, the tips, the tricks, and the techniques in all the murlis. And so our job then is to look inside the heart and see which titles, which points particularly touch my heart and I like to think over. And let me work by keeping those in my awareness to keep myself in that state of spiritual intoxication. And we can choose whichever one touches us, and then another one, another one. And each Brahmin, of course, is different. Everyone has their own personality, their style, their sanskars. And that's why Baba has given us a banquet of different points of intoxication. So you take the one which particularly touches your heart and you work with that. Baba said once that the way to do this is by starting in the early morning. And he even said once, keep a list with you, even if you need to keep a list, a piece of paper with you, or let's say 3 or 4 or 5 different titles of Swaman, self-respect. And you think, okay, this one, let me experience this for 15 minutes. And then you come to another one for 15 minutes and another one. So like this, we know that the early morning time is a very powerful time. It's the time to fill ourselves with power. And as we know, it's also known as the time of Brahma Murat. And Brahma is known as the one through whom creation is done. So it is said, even in the Lokik world, if you want to do something new in your life, if you want to start a new chapter in your life, if you are starting something new, then you should wake up at the time of Brahma Murat, the early morning, and think about what you're doing at that time. The energy of creation is available in the early morning hours, and it will give you power to be successful in your new endeavor. So soul conscious stage and being in the yogic stage. Then second thing is then to think about the energy, the power that we derive by performing elevated acts, sresht karam, or you can say the good deeds that we perform, which bring blessings to us. When we receive blessings from other souls, that also acts as a form of protection in our lives and helps us to de-obstacleize our path. Now, obstacles will come, of course, in various shapes and sizes, because we know also it's the time of settlement. Whatever unsettled karmas they are will come in front of us. But if we have accumulated blessings in our heart, then those blessings will make us light so we can pass over easily the obstacles which come in our lives. So how do you receive blessings? Well, Baba again has shown us that keep yourself busy in having good wishes for others. Keep yourself occupied in giving happiness to others, regardless of what others are doing or not doing, or should be doing or should not be doing. Well, that's their business. But the question for me is, what is coming out of me? And if I am sharing happiness with my mind, speaking elevated words to uplift others and create positivity in others, if I'm performing actions which, again, inspire, encourage others, which demonstrate or exemplify virtue, then naturally the soul is going to be receiving blessings from others. I think also of the service which is visible and service which is invisible. So let's take the example of Madhuban. when we go to Madhuban, there are a few souls who will be on the stage giving the classes, and everybody sees them. So thousands see them and watch them and listen to them. But then there are many, many others who do invisible service and no one sees them. For example, if you were to go into the kitchens early in the morning, you see a whole row of Matajis and other brothers sitting there peeling the vegetables or rolling the chapatis. No one sees that unless you specifically go there. But yet, we who eat that food, appreciate that food, and who get strength from that food, automatically a blessing goes from our hearts to those who have done that. Blessing doesn't mean you go in front of somebody and say thank you. Okay, it's good when we can do that. But even if no one knows who has done something which has helped me, a blessing goes from your hearts towards that person. And it's for this reason also that Baba has set up all of these centers around the world. I was thinking, what is the secret? Why Baba created all these centers? So that we can use our thoughts, our words, our actions, our energy, our time, our talents, our money, to look after a place where others can come and experience God. Others can come and experience peace. Others can come and receive an introduction to truth, to themselves, to Baba, to the karmic philosophy, and so on. And so even when we just use our physical energy to take care of Baba's house, that's creating this power inside me. Blessings will also come from those who take benefit by coming to Baba's house, but also individually when you do anything in Baba's center, in soul consciousness, in Baba's remembrance, and energy is accumulating in the soul. And that energy helps to keep you protected, keep you safe, and keep your mind steady and strong. Important to remember, it's Baba's service, it's Baba's center, it's Baba's family. And I remember one time, many years ago, when I used to be in a center in UK, and it was a Wednesday evening. And as we know, Wednesday evening we clean the kitchen, so Thursday morning Borg is made. So the brother I was staying with, we used to take turns. One Wednesday I would clean, next Wednesday his turn, and like that. So one particular Wednesday it was his turn to clean the kitchen. And I'd had to go out for some talk somewhere. So I came back a little bit late, maybe it was around 10ish or so. And it was my turn to cook Borg the next morning. So I remember coming back to the center and I saw the kitchen wasn't really cleaned. And the other brother had gone already to sleep. So the thought came in my mind, well, how can I make Borg if the kitchen hasn't been cleaned? So I thought, well, I must clean it. So I started cleaning and I was a bit tired and thoughts were coming, how come he didn't clean and it was his responsibility. Then suddenly a thought came from somewhere, who am I doing this for? I'm not doing this for some person, but I'm doing this because this is good for me, doing that cleaning. Through this, I, the soul, am absorbing energy into myself, which is going to make me stronger. And I'm doing it for Baba because it's Baba's center. So then I became aware of the the wisdom and the intelligence in Baba's method of why he has created these opportunities for us to accumulate spiritual energy by doing actions, by doing karma in a state of yoga in Baba's house. And since it's Baba's house, it's easy to have the awareness. This is Baba's center, Baba's service, Baba's family. And these are some of the secrets for how we accumulate not just our fortune for the future, but also elevated actions help us to undo, to erase the effect of the wrong actions we have done in the past lives, and maybe also in this life. So karma yoga, doing actions, physical actions in Baba's remembrance, also becomes a source of protection for the soul. So let me just stop there, and hoping some of these things are useful and practical for you. Also to remember, our own protection is one thing, but also it's our duty to create that, like a canopy of pure and powerful vibrations, so others who are around us also feel safe and protected when they are in our company. Okay, Om Shanti. Let me stop there.
Thank you so much, Yogesh. That was really very, very helpful, honestly. A few days back, someone said, I heard a talk from Yogesh. Every word was essential. And I think also this half an hour was so essential. So many important aspects. Thank you so much. We know that you will read Murli in a moment. We said we would open for one question if there is one. If there is a question online also, anybody can open the mic and speak, or someone from here even. Yeah, I think it was very, very clear. Now, actually, in our program, we have half an hour space for journaling and think about not only to understand what you said, but especially how to put that into practice. I look on that side because I see you there, but I know you are there.
Brother Yogesh, I have a question. So sometimes we do seva. As you said, people speak in front of public, right? And that's a visible seva. And some are doing invisible seva, like when we do yoga. So when we do seva, our ego naturally comes up, right? Ego, that I did it, or a lot of thoughts come. So, but when I don't do seva, then I'm very peaceful. I'm very silent, right? So, is it okay to not do seva and still and prefer that peacefulness all the time? And if I don't do seva and opt for peace, because naturally that ego shows up. So I don't want that. I want peace. So is it okay to prefer peace over visible seva? Will it still give us that high status in golden age, as Baba says? How does that work?
In a word, no, it's not okay to do that. Because the thing is, it's true what you say, that when we do seva, it may happen, doesn't happen to everyone. It may happen that this arrogance or ego comes up, but that's part of the process of cleansing. That when you notice that, this ego has come up, it means the ego is there. And it's only by doing service that you realize that ego is there, and then you begin to work on it and finish it, and you learn to do seva without that feeling of ego, without that I and mine. So one thing to be to be aware of is that, when we do seva, and for me, seva means selfless service. When we do seva, one reason for that is to share Baba's treasures with others. That's our duty as Baba's children. But the other reason for seva is I should grow through that seva as well. It's not only I am sharing Baba's knowledge with others, but in the process of doing that, I should also be growing. So there's like a double reason for doing seva. And just one more thought coming to mind, which just recently I was thinking of is, whenever you choose to do anything good in your life, anything good, ask yourself, what is this making me into? What am I becoming by doing that? So you may just do a little thing. You may even just say thank you to someone, or you may do a little something for someone. It may seem like an insignificant thing to do. It may not have a huge impact on another person, maybe just a slight positive impact. But the question is, what am I becoming by doing this? And that's what's important. Even little actions of seva are helping to make me more divine, helping to chip away at the ego, helping to emerge my soul-conscious stage. So I would say that seva is also a vehicle for us to see what's inside us and then to be able to work on it and finish that ego.
So one question, follow-up question on the same thing is that how to maintain a balance between doing seva and still being in a high state of remembrance of Baba, so that we do selfless seva. Because seva is like, boom, so many thoughts come and all that. So how to balance this out? I mean, it seems very tough for me, at least.
Well, the thing is, Baba is there as our guide and support. And we just have to start with where we are at. So let's just start with the awareness. I am a child of God. I'm a soul. I'm an instrument soul. And of course, this is something new for most of us. But just start with an honest heart and with courage. And gradually that awareness will grow more and more. It's an ongoing journey. And Baba had said in one Murli, what is it that God likes the most? He said he likes it when we have the courage to put his Srimad into practice. He is pleased when we have courage to take the right step, and then all his help comes. So we won't suddenly become perfectly competent, but as long as my heart is clean and I am authentic and sincere in my practice, and I have the courage to apply, Baba's help comes. And when Baba is your backer, your supporter, then definitely you will be successful in whatever you do. It's an ongoing discovery of how Baba helps you when these two things are there, clean heart and also courage.
Great, that was clear. Yeah. Thank you so much, Yogesh. And now one sentence in Spanish before we let you go.
Familia querido, por tanto tiempo perdido y ahora encontrado. Vamos.
Vamos. Great. Okay, thank you so much, Yogesh. Was really good, very good. And we will share the recording with others.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. See you back in Europe soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Om Shanti, and thank you, brother.
Om Shanti.
So, and we... Yes, Ismail, you're getting thanks for the translation here. And we will continue with our little retreat. And for those from Switzerland who want to continue the afternoon session, we spot something around the We will have dinner 4:30, and 5:30 we'll have the conscious dialogue, which is for listening only for those online, and we're going to a sharing in deep soul consciousness. Okay, great that you were with us. Om Shanti. Have a lovely day. Etwas testen. Das Mute-Taschen. Hast du? Hast du?